Morning Revolution Radio family. We're gonna jump straight into it. Better late than not at all. So, on September 15th, 1963, in Birmingham, Alabama, Eddie Mae Collins, Denise McNair, Carol Robinson, and Cynthia Wesley were getting ready for church services when a bomb exploded at the 16th Street Baptist Church, killing all four of the school-age girls. The church had been a center for civil rights meetings and marches. The list goes on and on. I want to touch on a few names. May 12th, 1967, in Jackson, Mississippi, Benjamin Brown, a former civil rights organizer, was watching the student protest from the sidelines when he was hit by stray gunshots from police who fired into the crowd. On April 4th, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. So that list can go on and on and on, man. And I want to touch on those young girls briefly. Their bodies were maimed and dismembered in that explosion. And so I want you to keep all that in mind. And my great-grandmother used to tell me before she died all the time that there are countless numbers of black men drowned in the waterways of the Sunflower River located in the Mississippi Delta. So I want y'all to keep all that in mind as we continue this. So we just gonna get straight into it, man. Old Charlie Kirk was obviously a bit of a controversial character, which in my opinion can be considered, maybe a good thing. I say good because controversy in some instances can be thought-provoking. Kirk obviously resonated with a particular subset of the U.S. population for one reason or another. And he and I aren't all that different, aren't all that unalike, you could say, I should say. We're born in the same year. We both want to take the mantle of a mass communicator. Both opinionated. We both want to challenge the given narrative. And, we both just natural leaders. And all of those qualities, all of those undertakings tend to breed discontent. But this is what such a position inherits. If you reference the very first sentence of this commentary, this is what such a position inherits. So while Kirk did have some supporters and people who were followers of his way of thought, it is blatant that there are those in droves, might I add, that subscribe to the exact opposite of what Mr. Kirk believes. Hence, one would presume that some agreed with him and some didn't. I want you to hold that thought. If you think back as far as as recent as Assata Shakur, but as far back as Malcolm X, as far back as Fred Hampton, as far back as Huey Newton, why is it that we know very little, or if anything, about these figures, about these men and women? Why is it that we aren't teaching our children about these men and women? Because we know nothing of them. And we take for a joke what white folks take as life and death. I want to repeat that. We black people take for a joke what white people take as life and death. That's why we in America living under their laws. That's why we're in America living under their laws. White people broke away from Great Britain, the greatest nation on earth at the time. They fought a war with them and won the war with them, against them twice. Nigga, you better think about that. You probably take it as a joke. You think it's a game. That's why they say who can and who can't. Because they take this shit serious. Nigga, you lose your job talking about Charlie Kirk. They kick you out of school. They kick you out of your college for talking about Charlie Kirk. Why? Because white folks take this shit serious. And white folks think about the future. These niggas focus on the next pair of J's and some tomfoolery, basically. But white folks think about the future. According to Yahoo News Canada on September 13th, 2025, they compiled a list of some of Kirk's quotes, one of which being that if he were on a plane and saw a black pilot getting ready to pilot the plane, he would, quote, hope that they were qualified. I want to repeat that. Yahoo News Canada on September 13th, 2025 compiled a list of some of Kirk's quotes, one of which being that if he were on a plane and saw a black pilot getting ready to pilot the plane, he would, quote, hope that they were qualified. Now, according to the Sovereign Wealth Fund Institute, as of Monday, September 29th, 2025, the richest airlines in the world are operated out of North America. And now one of them has assets below $60 billion. I want to repeat that. As of Monday, September 29th, according to the Sovereign Wealth Fund Institute, the richest airlines in the world are operated out of North America. The richest airliners in the world are operated out of North America, and not one of them has assets below $60 billion. To my mama and my grandma and my sweet baby, my sweet child, I'm so sorry for this French I'm about to use. Why in the fuck would these corporations rule what they have built by putting an unqualified Negro in the driver's seat of an airplane with paying customers on it? Why would they ruin everything they built by putting an unqualified black pilot in an airplane driver's seat, in a pilot seat? Why would they make him a pilot? Lose everything they done built. It's pure racism. It's pure hatred. And we already agree that Kirk had a mass following. So more than him feel that way about you, nigga. You better get real. On the same list of compiled quotes by Yahoo News Canada, Kirk is quoted as saying that black people were better off during Jim Crow in the 40s and that there was less crime, I guess, being perpetrated by black people. Well, all you got to do is look at history. Read some, Negro. Niggas wasn't allowed at white barbers or diners or stores or schools or mechanic shops or banks. So we had our own institutions. We had our own economy, which was in turn power. Because what do they say money is? Money is power. So black folks had our own barbers, our own dentists. We had our own grocery stores. We had our own schools. We had our own mechanic shops. We had our own banks. So in turn, we had our own institutions, which led to our own money, which leads to our own power. That's power. They stripped that from us. They stripped that from us because some of you niggas want to go to the white schools, want to go to the white grocery store, want to go to the white dentist, want to go to the to whatever, the white doc, whatever, you know. So splitting up Jim Crow and some of y'all want to be accepted by those who hate you the very most. They hate your very guts. And I'm gonna just be honest. You always had a little bit of, even in Jim Crow or segregation, you still had mingling and intermingling. It just wasn't accepted and went out in the public. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like you couldn't go to, you just not allowed it now. What you just had to know the right one, know the right people. You know what I'm saying? Basically, during segregation, know the right people. And it just wasn't accepted. But come on, man. Come on. So they hate your mama. They hate your mama. And as far as crime, in the 1940s, niggas wasn't living in cities. Niggas was living in rural areas. Crime don't get reported in rural areas. Food, don't be a fool. Niggas couldn't afford to live in those cities. Niggas just got off the fucking plantation. Well, had nobody moved to no cities yet to report no crime. And crime don't get reported in the country. So, with that being said, I agree with Kirk on some things. We probably was better off during Jim Crow because we had our own money, our own economy. Is that bad? Is that bad to have your own? I think it's a good thing to have your own. I agree with him and I agree with him that men and women restrooms and women's sports is wrong. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. So while I don't agree with Mr. Kirk about some things, I obviously just pointed out to you he made a very good point in his stupidity and his hatred. He pointed out how great we used to be before they stripped it from us. So all you got to do is read between the lines, black people. Pay attention. You got to read books for one thing. You got to read books, story books, fiction, nonfiction. You got to read some books so that you can get hip to what's going on out here. And read between the lines in those books as well. Read between the lines and every day. Ain't nothing just happening. Ain't nothing just going on. Ain't nothing just happening by chance. Ain't nothing random. You understand me? I was talking to a guy I work with, and that's another thing I want to get into just real briefly. I ain't just ranting. I'm gonna keep this strictly about the business. I was talking to a guy I work with. He had the nerve to tell me that hurricanes and natural disasters, that God doesn't make hurricanes and natural disasters happen. He said it just happens at chance, just out of nowhere, just decide to just hurricane. He's a young guy. He's about 20. Not even 21, I don't think. Man, I should have realized then how lost that young man was. I should have backed away from him then. But what I was saying before that was, nothing happens by chance. Nothing happens by chance. And there are three three types of people in the world. And this goes back to nothing happens by chance. There are those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who don't even have a clue what's going on. If you remember that, you'll go far in life. Black people and Revolution Radio fam, I want to encourage you to keep your nose to the ground. Stay at it. The fight still lives in some of us. This fire still burning in some of us. And we're not gonna let it go. I don't care what they do. We still able to continue this fight. We put it in our children so that they can teach it to their children. And they'll teach it to their children. And their children's children will catch on. And we'll go further than we ever been. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been my commentary for the day. Sorry I'm late on it. Dwell on it though. Think about some of those things that I uttered and go do a little study of your own. I wish you all well. I wish you all peace and blessings. May God cover us all. Have a good day.